was listening carefully to what you said. You know, when I hear this business of the perfect candidate, I always think to myself, I know of a couple myself, but they ain't going to come down from Mount Rushmore. They're going to stay just where they are. So we're going to have to do it ourselves, The human beings that we are, we just have to do it ourselves. And I think we're up for that. I think we're up for it. Good to be back in Indianola. As some of you know, we did a little TV commercials right down the street at a little competing organization down here called Cornerstone. And we wanted to stay all day, and they finally had to take us out and do some business, but we appreciated it. It was a wonderful experience. With all of the donuts and the coffee and the drinks flying around there, I'm still paying off the tab of my staff that stayed there too. So it cost me a lot of money to get to do that, but we did some good commercials because it did remind me, and driving around here, this reminds me of my little hometown that I grew up in southern Middle Tennessee. And as I travel around the country, as I travel around Iowa, I find that there's an awful lot more that we have in common in this country than separates us. Real people are real people. We're concerned about the same sort of things. What I'm concerned about right now is my party and my country. And I think those two things go together. Because for my country to get where it needs to be, my party has got to be successful. Now that's something that I've been working at for a long time. This is not something that I decided that I was going to do because I wanted to run for president. That is, support my party. I've been to Iowa many times over the years. I was just trying to think. I've been out here for my friend Nussel, my friend Lightfoot, and my friend, a fellow by the name of Chuck Grassley, who needed my help a whole lot. He just eke by, with my support. I pulled him through. But got a chance to kind of work at the foot of Chuck Grassley and learn a whole lot of things from him. Out here for the party, back when you were doing party functions and so forth. Not just because I love Iowa, because I was doing it in other parts of the country. Because I love my party, what it stands for. Because I've been there since I was in college and read Barry Goldwater's Congress of the Conservative. Because I think it's the best thing for our country. I think it's in tune with eternal principles. I think it's in tune with human nature. It's in tune with what our founding fathers had in mind when they wrote that Declaration of Independence and reminded us where our rights come from and how much too much power in one hand can create difficulties and injustice for us. So we took that and built a great country on the basis of those fundamental principles, on the basis of our belief for a strong national defense and the rule of law and respect for the law, and respect for a market economy and the miracles that market economies produce when free people are out there competing freely and openly with each other and creating small businesses. In a country that doesn't tax and spend its people to get death. In a country where a small town boy from Tennessee can grow up if he plays by the rules and behaves himself and has a fair chance of living the American dream. And that's what we believe in. Those are the principles that we adhere to. And those are what made us successful in times past. I got a chance to put those things in action. When I decided to put away what I was doing and put it aside and hitch it up and ask myself whether or not I shouldn't step forward and do something for my country. The country's done an awful lot for me. I'd never run for political office before, but I did like a lot of Americans did that year in 1994. I stepped up, got in my pickup truck, started driving around the state. We were 20 points down to a popular incumbent congressman, and everybody, they like to take snapshots of the election, all the professionals. Well, this is the way it is because this is the way it is today. Well, to make a long story short, we went from 20 points down to 20 points ahead on election night. That's when I like to count the numbers, is on election night. And then 2 years later, we did it again by another 20 points. As I like to say, I'm not to brag, but I'm the only so-called frontier runner nationwide here that's never lost an election, and I don't intend to lose one this time either. We were able to go to Washington and pass tax cut after tax cut and balance the budget for 4 years and pass welfare reform, something that had been kicking around the country for 20 years. Haven't been able to do anything about it. We were able to do that because of the things that we were talking about, relying on our what I call our country's first principle. Standing strong for Second Amendment rights, compiling 100% pro-life voting record while we were there. Those were good days. We're not that far gone. We can't live in those days because we've got new challenges now. But we can apply those same eternal principles that served us not only us well, but have served mankind well for the centuries to the modern day challenges that we have. We still have to make a primary commitment to the security of this nation. We live in a country now that faces more different kinds of threats than ever before in the history of our country. We don't have the old Soviet Union with the one big bomb, so-called, pointed at us and mutual assured destruction, works. They finally righted from within. Different thing now. In many respects more dangerous. Terrorist organizations, rogue nations in various stages of developing weapons of mass destruction. Alignments one with another. States that say they want our destruction. States that want to destroy our allies and wipe them off the face of the earth. In a world where nuclear material in small amounts can be used to wipe out an American city, and the terrorists are trying to get their hands on it. Our own national intelligence estimates, the ones that are declassified, we all know about, point that out. We talk Pakistan is in the news today. I had a chance to go to Pakistan a few years ago. I had a chance to sit down with Musharraf. I had a chance to walk along the Khyber Pass there that separates Afghanistan and Pakistan. I know the lay of the land. I know the people involved. I've been there. And I understand that the intelligence information that comes out of there, which says that some of their people have tried to cooperate and had meetings with Al-Qaeda and so forth, people who might have access to Pakistani nuclear materials and nuclear weaponry. That was just in the paper a couple of days ago, reminding us of the kind of world that we live in. Iraq now is a front in that global effort to bring us down, but it's only a front. This problem will be with us long after Iraq and Afghanistan are in our rearview mirror. We must remain strong. We must send a signal to our friends and foes alike as the whole world watches us and sees what we're going to do, whether or not we're going to be strong enough to be united and do the things necessary to defend ourselves. We've got to send a message that indeed we are, that we Americans may have things that separate us and divide us, but there's a lot more that holds us together. And we're going to do whatever is necessary, make whatever commitment that's necessary to protect us. I think one of the things we got to do as a party is to get very used to telling the truth and facing up to reality and telling the American people that, the experts say that our percentage of expenditures for the military is going to go down. It's not going to go down. It's not going to go down. There's too many things we have to do. We're asking too few people to do too many things right now. They're spread too thin. We've got worn out equipment. Our intelligence is not what it should be. We got to do better. And we're going to do better. It's going to cost some money. We cannot have guns and butter forever. That has to do with telling the truth. And I think the American people are looking for credibility out of our country. Not just the same old sound bites and the same old people. If we do the same old things the same old way with the same old people, we're going to get beat bad. We're going to get beat bad. We're not going to let that happen. Too much at stake. We know that we're in a downward trend now. So-called experts remind us of that. We see the poll numbers. We know that we're going to have to do things better in order to win next time. Once in 50 years has a party kept the White House for 3 straight elections. One time in 50 years. So just the inherent nature of politics causes us to start behind. So I'm saying credibility, reaching out and all Americans, independent-minded folks, just like Ronald Reagan did, and create a coalition based on principles that acts as a magnet for all right-thinking people that want to do the right thing by their country.